Well, good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Friday morning here in San Francisco, and I'm doing a show and tell about a friend's book, and the book is excellent. So this is really fun. I own a helmet from the movie Prometheus. It's a beautiful piece of work. It's actually work that was executed for the film by my friends at FBFX in London. We've covered them a ton on the show, and every year or so, I stare at that helmet and I think, boy, I would really like to put together the whole Prometheus suit. But I'm never going to find a Prometheus suit. Not a lot of them made it out of production. And also, that's the kind of high expense item that is not the way I collect. The way I collect is, if I have the helmet, I may build the rest of the suit. And recently, Prop Store, I was down in LA at Prop Store filming, and we covered a Prometheus suit down there. I'm not even sure we covered it, but they had one. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking, as I'm looking at these pieces of armor that are on the Prometheus suit, they all seem pretty buildable out of foam. And then I thought to myself, it's ridiculous that I haven't done more foam smithing here on the channel. Given that friends of the channel are people like SKS Props, who make wonderful foam, and Bill Duran up in Seattle, and our friend of the channel and foam master, Beverly Downen. And I was thinking I should do some foam building. So I took some good pictures of the armor, and I thought, I'm going to go back home and I'm going to eventually put together the pieces of armor so that I can put them on the jumpsuit. Because as I was looking at I don't have to get into the weeds about this. Suffice to say that I thought I should do some foam smithing. I should look at some of the reference manuals, and then bang, Beverly's book arrived, along with some other books from the same publisher, including, and he's in this, is our friend Sanat Klemchanowan from Weta Workshop. Anyway, Beverly has released a foam smithing book. Oh, wait, I should point out that the publisher sent all these incredible cosplay books, cosplay foundations. C&T Publishing sent a king's ransom of amazing cosplay instruction books, which is super exciting to me. There we go. Boom! Look at all that. But that's not even the best part. The best part is that Beverly's book itself came in a book made by Beverly. So Beverly made this book. Beverly made this, I believe, this beautiful EVA foam book using most of the techniques within the book. I have received a lot of books from authors over the years. I have blurbed for various friends and people I admire. That is, written a little review on the back of the book. This is without a doubt the most fun author book that I have gotten here in the cave. And there's so much wonderful material to go through. But for what I'm covering here in this channel is Beverly's amazing book, EVA Foam, Cosplayer's Ultimate Guide to EVA Foam. And I actually read it the day that it arrived. I read the whole thing all the way through, and it is a terrific and lovely guide. Beverly is, just a word about Beverly Downen. She is not just an amazing cosplayer, but in order to achieve great cosplay, it's not just about being good at making stuff. You also have to be truly great at design, because these things you're not just copying something off a page. You're making 1,000 tiny decisions to take something from one form, a movie or a 2D comic or animation or live action, and you're translating it into another. That's design work. And to get it right takes a sensitivity. Beverly has all of that. And then in addition, it seems to me, and we haven't spoken directly about this, but no, we have spoken directly about this. Beverly one of her missions is to spread the word and get other people interested in cosplay. And as a permission machine myself, I'm so delighted at her mission, because this book it's a hug to makers everywhere. Not only that, it covers so much wonderful stuff. You get to see pieces of foam under construction marked up for reference. You get to see her techniques of building body forms and creating three-dimensional shapes out of two-dimensional materials. By that I mean, creating compound curves out of flat materials like tape and foam, and learning ways to make their contours actually fit both your aesthetic and your body. Up to and including Beverly showing some of her specific mannequins that she has made of her body for draping her costumes and the results of those. There's tons of her work in here. All of the finished work is just super inspiring. I mean, just like you'll be looking at a thing and they'll be like, oh, acrylic paint. And then all of a sudden there's a picture of Beverly looking absolutely freaking badass. Frankly, sometimes in books about this, you'll see, like, I have this Japanese model making book about making stuff in foam core. And it's like, take this piece of foam core and turn it into a phone. And there's not a lot of intermaterial there. It's not quite as bad as the paper mache kit I got when I was a kid that was like, you can build a horse. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to build a horse. And it literally was a picture of a horse and a vat of like clay. This is not that. Beverly, CNT publishers have really, it is soup to nuts, and it's all the homely and normal and regular, unglamorous materials. There's one of her body forms out of duct tape. How to print your own head. But there's a step-by-stepness that is really, there's a step-by-step aspect to this that is really, really lovely. Here's a wonderful one of a real guide, not just how to use zippers theoretically, not just a picture like this, but a breakdown step-by-step of attaching a zipper and proper ways to finish the seam and everything. Incredible. And like I said, feels like a hug because it doesn't take many. When you're reading a book about making stuff and you're realizing you keep having to make leaps, like, oh, they didn't fill in what kind of contact cement. That tends to matter to me. Each material is unique in and of itself, each material or process. And if you don't include enough information, I may start to glaze over. None of that is a problem here. I did have one issue with some of their graphic layout. The only issue I had, and this isn't for Beverly, this is for the CNT Publishing. I just want to say, sometimes you guys graphically go across with your storytelling of panels of technique, and sometimes you go down. Sometimes you go in, so sometimes you lay out narrative beats in columns, and sometimes you lay them out in rows. As a former graphic designer, I found that a couple of times confusing as I was going through, but that matters not much at all. Because this is exactly the kind of inspiration that I needed to get started in my foam smithing. And there are even a chapter about using scraps. I mean, that's really, really terrific. Gaver Tully of Brightworks here in San Francisco. He has a wonderful TED Talk called 5 Dangerous Things You Should Let Your Children Do. He believes in a maker-based education because when you are doing something like making armor, for instance, you are going to set out to make something for your body, something that you can wear. But along the way, you are actually going to give yourself a crash course in armor, in the parts, in the fitment, in the layout, in technique. And all of that is going to have to come into your brain in order for you to execute the thing. So I always love those extra bits of knowledge. And by the way, if you ever have a cosplay book and you can put a picture of yourself in it that's as badass as that, it's absolutely something you should do. I would do it if I had a cosplay book. So yeah, I love this specifically, this chapter on armor and the part. I love specifically this chapter on armor and the parts of armor and the things it does to protect you, because all those extra bits of understanding of knowledge of how things fit together, both conceptually but also physically, is one of my favorite parts about making, and my favorite parts about all these different excursions that I and other makers get to dive into. This is wonderful, even down to showing all of these different iterations of a design and all the ways in which it could be laid out and the final product and how it came out. This is just such a, it's such a detailed and rigorous look at process. Again, a lot of modeling books tend to show you the materials and the finished product, but this was clearly laid out in conjunction with the maker in great detail. This is some of my favorite stuff. All the markings on this, all the pieces before they get their paint and they're sanded, the ways in which that process genuinely occurs. When you demystify a lot of that, even down to like how to hold your arms for molding your own van braces and things like that, when you demystify that, you just make it so much more accessible. Beverly is not only dressed as a fearless warrior, she is in fact a fearless warrior. And we are delighted every time we get to play with her on Tested, every time we get to showcase her amazing work or partake in her expertise. And this book is just a magnificent achievement. So congratulations to Beverly, and get yourself a copy of Cosplayer's Ultimate Guide to EVA Foam. It's been a quick show and tell. Thank you guys for joining me. And I'm going to shoot some B-roll of this, and I'll see you later.